Good, happy Sunday morning, July 14, 2019. I'm Riley King, and welcome to the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. Let's begin. First up, loved ones memorialize Merrimack Man on 1 month anniversary of his passing. Alec Bornchuk was 20 years old. It's been 1 month since a Merrimack man died in a drowning accident on the Merrimack River in Concord. On Saturday night, Alec Borchuk's friends and family members gathered in Merrimack to memorialize him. Messages to Alec were attached to balloons and sent up to the sky, honoring the 20-year-old man missed by so many. Parents Jake and Michelle Bornchuk say the support they've received since their son's death last month has been overwhelming. Alec was kayaking and fishing with his brothers on the Merrimack River when it happened. His parents say it was a routine the two brothers often shared. His parents say Alec was consistently busy with sports and friends. The memorial made its way to Veterans Park, which is a special place for Alec's family. Family members are setting up a scholarship fund for football, lacrosse, and hockey players in his name. They say that's what Alec would have wanted. And our thoughts and prayers go to his family and friends. Biden, Booker, O'Rourke talk immigration policies at New Hampshire campaign stops. It was your typical summer Saturday in the first in the nation primary state. Presidential candidates could be found at an apple orchard in Londonderry, a Manchester Democrats potluck, or knocking on the doors of voters. 3 Democrats held very different events. Joe Biden spoke at Max Apple's. Beto O'Rourke spoke at a potluck picnic, and Cory Booker canvassed in Manchester and took the press on his RV. All 3 talked about the Trump administration's policy on immigration. Democratic candidate Seth Moulton also held events in the state yesterday. And now let's take a look at your 2020 New Hampshire candidate calendar for July 14, 2019. Let's see what candidates are in New Hampshire today. We have a bunch of candidates in New Hampshire today. The first candidate we're talking about is Cory Booker. Cory Booker has 2 events today in New Hampshire. His first event is at a house party in Pelham, New Hampshire at 9 o'clock a.m. His second event is a meet and greet at the Common Man in Plymouth, New Hampshire at 1 p.m. Kamala Harris. She's in New Hampshire today, and she has 3 events happening today in New Hampshire. Her first event, Conversation with the Candidate with Kamala Harris at 10:15 a.m. at WMUR News 9. Her second event, House Party in Guilford, New Hampshire at 1:45 p.m. And then her third event is a town hall at Somersworth High School in Somersworth, New Hampshire at 4:15 p.m. Beto O'Rourke. He has 2 events today in New Hampshire. His first event, Immigration Town Hall at the Nashua Ukrainian Universalist Church in Nashua, New Hampshire at 2 p.m. And then his second event is a town hall in Brettonwood, New Hampshire at 4:30 p.m. And those are all the candidates that will be in New Hampshire today. Power restored to all customers following massive outage in Manhattan. Let's take a listen to that video from Eyewitness News ABC 7 in New York City.
Update your floors with Empire Today's $50 room sale. Buy one room, get floors for all other rooms for just $50 each. So when you buy one room, it's only $50 for laminate in the kitchen, $50 for carpet in the bedroom, and $50 for hardwood in the office. There's no limit. Buy one room and it's $50 for floors in each additional room. Schedule now. 800-588-2300 Empire.
Today. Because now we're going to turn to that blackout here in Manhattan that really did kind of totally upend what otherwise would have been just a perfect summer night in New York City. Instead, bars, restaurants, even Broadway theaters all forced to shut their doors, forcing those crowds out onto the streets.
And take a look at the front pages of the Daily News and the New York Post today. Lights out on Broadway.
That says it all, right? But it wasn't just Broadway. 72,000 Con Ed customers in Manhattan lost power. That means hundreds of thousands, if not more, impacted, all said and done. It took more than 4 hours before all 6 electric networks were back online. That happened just about midnight. Con Ed has yet to determine, though, the exact cause other than some kind of mechanical failure.
And that massive blackout stretched from 72nd Street to 42nd Street, from 5th Avenue all the way to the Hudson River. But there were other outages reported as far south as 14th Street.
We do have team coverage on this Sunday morning about the blackout, from the investigation to reaction here in Manhattan. Let's begin with Eyewitness News reporter Diana Rocco. She's live on the west side where the whole mess began. Diana.
Hey, Rob, good morning. You know, I'm sure a lot of people are very happy that those air conditions are back on this morning and working. Everything was restored by about midnight last night, but Con Edison did trace the problem here to 49th Street, which is one of their substations. It was a pretty warm but nice summer night last night. It was the height of a night out when all of a sudden 30 blocks just went dark, affecting at least 6 neighborhoods here on the west side. While power is back on this morning, Con Edison believes it was a mechanical problem at a substation here on 49th Street. About 6:45 last night, the lights went out for more than 70,000 customers. Traffic lights went dark. Subways stopped running from 72nd Street all the way to Times Square. This affected West Side neighborhoods from Hell's Kitchen to the Upper West Side. Con Edison says they lost 6 circuits on the power grid and immediately went to work to restore them. They are now trying to figure out why all of this happened. By midnight, power was restored to all of their customers. The governor did leave an event in Albany last night and immediately came to the city. He commended emergency services for maintaining the peace. The FDNY was very busy last night. They had about 1,000 calls just in Manhattan alone, all related to this outage.
This is a potentially very dangerous situation. And we have to make sure it doesn't happen again. And the system is designed in such a way that it doesn't happen again.
So noticeably really missing from all of this last night was Mayor de Blasio. He was at a campaign event in Iowa. We are told he did leave the event, but we are hoping to hear from him at some point during the day today. Con Edison says this was not an issue of overuse. They are now trying to get to the bottom of all of this. It remains under investigation.
Okay, and
Replacing
there
floors
you
is a big
go on that video and that report. And good thing the power is back on in Manhattan. And now let's take a look at some events happening today in New Hampshire. Raymond, New Hampshire Town Fair 2019 begins at 9 o'clock a.m. Volunteer Trail Work Day at 9 o'clock a.m. on Squam Lake Association. Tail Trail Mossy at Parentals in the Pines at 9 o'clock a.m. Arts Weekend, the Falls Historic East End Gardens at 10 o'clock a.m. Wild Summer Festival Rescue Zoo, Animal Adventure Rescue and Family Zoo at 10 o'clock a.m. Backyard and Beyond, Help Us Tend Our Garden Discovery Museum at 10 o'clock a.m. The 30th Annual Craft Fair by the Bay, Alton Bay Community House at 10 o'clock a.m. Free Intro to Gun Ownership Seminar, Manchester Firing Line at 10:30 a.m. And downtown Lowell Food Tour, Off the Beaten Path, Lowell, Massachusetts meeting spot, 11 o'clock a.m. And those are events happening today across New Hampshire and Massachusetts. And that does it for the Riley King Newscast right here on the Riley King Network. I hope you all have a great rest of your Sunday, and I'll see you back here later on today for another newscast, and I'll have a news report coming up in a little bit. Goodbye, everyone.